All right, y'all. I'm coming. I'm coming. Dear God. Whew. All right. Eyes are coming. I'm gonna get me a drink and get my piece of carrot cake in case I have a sugar spike. I got me some carrot cake because I wanted some chicken. Get your chicken in here. All right. We here. We are here. Let me turn this good light on. And, there I go, there I go, there I go. Hey, 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 hey. What's up, y'all? What is up? What is up? Happy Memorial Day. Yes, I'm about to pour my drink now. Shondo to everybody. Hey, Quintessential. Hey, lovely 31 Blueprint. Diamond Pearl Jim. Jay Parrish. Child. Hey, y'all. So let me go ahead. What are we drinking on today? The botanist, our gin of choice. If you listen, even if you don't drink gin, it's worth a try. It's good stuff. So we are drinking. Some of y'all can see I ain't sick no more, right? Yes. So we're gonna pour some of that in there. Ugh. And then as our chaser, I got some crayon tropical. I got some crayon mango over there too, but I said I'm gonna go with the crayon tropical because the crayon tropical, so hard to say, it's so good. Listen, y'all, we gonna have fun today. I got nothing but fun today. I don't think I have any sugar spikes today. I say that, and then we'll go into a whole ass sugar spike. Listen, but y'all, I don't have any planned sugar spikes. Let's say like that. No planned sugar spikes. But y'all know how these things go. We get up here and other things happen. We gotta cause it as we see it. Hey, folks at the beach. Hey, you know, Quintessential, you got a lot of the girls, a lot of the kids are up there in Chicago. Um, it's a lot of the kids up there in Chicago this weekend for Memorial Day because they have IML. I forgot what IML stands for. Hey, social jump, but it's for like all of the gay people with the leather and bear community and all of that stuff, and cubs and bears and leather and all of that. They got a whole big festival up there. The daddies and the cubs and the bears and the leather, but it's the black people. They all up there. They having a good ass time. Listen. Mm. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. So what's going on? Happy Memorial Day, y'all! As we honor and respect all of those people who we remember and we honor. Yeah, they probably over in Boys Town. You already know where they at. You ain't even have to question. You know where they at this weekend. Anyway, but we certainly remember and honor all of those whose lives were lost and who gave their lives for this country. We know, hey, MVN, we know that Memorial Day is a holiday started by Black people. White people ain't started. It's started by Black people as Decoration Day. Let's be clear. When Black people went and decorated the graves of family members that they had lost both in the military and in some of the fights that they were having for our own freedom. Decoration Day then evolved into what, and America likes to steal from us, and they stole it and turned it into Memorial Day. So, hey, Nicole Stevens, baby, you got your drink? Baby, I got mine. We got our drink today. Mm. Ooh. So we got some good stuff to talk about today, okay? Some of my story. I got one story I meant to do it last week, but I got busy. I had to go out of town for a funeral. I had a lot going on last week. I didn't even make it to It's Me D's panel to talk about Legendary, but I got a story. So I'm gonna talk about that today. I was supposed to talk about it either last week or on Silly Saturday, but we're gonna get to it today. I do have some palate cleansers. So if you out at the pool or on the beach like Quintessential, we'll give you a little bit of eye candy. I ain't got a whole lot, but I got a little bit of sunshine for you out there. Sunshine for y'all to look at. Okay. And we gonna have a good time. We gonna talk about the cookout. We gonna talk about Monique and D.L. Hughley. Yeah, we gonna talk about them. I ain't got too many stories, but we just whenever I ain't got that much to talk about, we end up being here a long time talking about a whole lot. So we gonna have a good time. Let's put some Shondos in the chat again. Shondo to you, and yours too. All right. Also, there was a YouTuber who passed away, Crystal King. My condolences to her. May she rest in peace. My condolences to her family and friends out there. I saw that name in the YouTube streets. Also, Master P lost his daughter Tatiana, and she died. Thank you, International Mr. Leather. Ciao. Oh, one of the listening folks heard. Thank you, person listener. Hey, hey. Ciao. Tell them I say appreciate you for your input. Ciao. I know it had to do with leather, honey. One of my good friends and frat brothers, he's up there. Um, I think he's a previous Mr. IML, and now he's I don't know. He be real deep into that. Anyway, so y'all, let's um let's get this party started. Roaring, roaring, roaring. Let's get this party started quickly. All right. So, should I start with that story that I told you I was gonna do last week, or should I start with something? I'm gonna start with something else. I'm gonna start with a picture, okay? So I had somebody come into my chat, right? Not my chat. They came into my DMs. Somebody, hey Pinky Tiki, hey my love, in the bed, boy, child, come on over. You got the COVID, child, child, child. I know all too well about it, child. I just got over it. Anyway, um, so somebody came into my chat, y'all, right? So they said, "Oh, why you call that man Governor Hot Wheels? What's the purpose of you call him Governor Hot Wheels? I don't even understand." I said, "He's in a wheelchair." They were like, "That man ain't in no wheelchair. I ain't never seen him in a wheelchair. He just sits down all the time." I said, "He sits down because he's in a freaking wheelchair." And they were like, "I ain't never seen a man in a wheelchair." I was like, "The man sits in a wheelchair." So this weekend, Governor Hot Wheels decided to roll his ass over to Uvalde, Texas, to quote unquote, honor the lives lost with the children and teachers, and he was getting booed and booed, unmercifully. They were booing him unmercifully, screaming at him, yelling at him, as they should. But this is the image of Governor Hotwood. There he is right there. You see him in the wheelchair rolling by. There he is. So for those people who question why we call him Governor Hot Wheels, there's the Hot Wheels right there. Some people need the visual evidence. I'm gonna leave that up there for a second. Anyway, so while that's up there, I should just tell you, listen, the people in Uvalde, Texas were not here for Governor Hot Wheels when he decided to go over there to the memorial at Robb Elementary School yesterday. Baby, they were booing him unmercifully, okay? unmercifully. And we hear all of the stuff that's coming out of there about how the police were scared to go in, about how they waited almost an hour before they went in there. Mind you, Uvalde, Texas, that only has 15,000 in their population, spends 40% of their city budget on police. 40%, 40. Mind you, they got SWAT teams, they got all kinds of military personnel and not personnel, but arsenal. But they too scared to go in against an 18-year-old boy. That's a whole. I'm not gonna get into that whole thing today. We'll save that for politics of it all. But I needed the visual evidence for the person who tried to tell me. No, they were screaming at I thought they were screaming at Rafael Cruz in the at the restaurant. I saw somebody screaming at Ted Cruz, Rafael Cruz at the restaurant. His bitch ass. Now he's not in the wheelchair. Not yet, at least. But Governor Hot Wheels, hey Abby Boo, child, he was rolling for his life. I'm rolling for my 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 life. Child, he is rolling for his life, honey. Child. There is the visual evidence. Hey Tracy Boo, I was wondering where you was at. Child. Now you ain't late. You just in time. Governor Hot Wheels got so also, yeah, Raphael is such trash. He's such trash. Also, what came across my desk this week, because somebody from the Mod Squad chat put the link to the alleged Pooch Hall meat picture. So an alleged leak of Pooch Hall from the game. What did he on the movie? Stomp the Yard. Was it Pooch Hall in Stomp the Yard? Like, I think Pooch Hall was inside. I think anyway. Y'all know who Pooch Hall is. He's from. We know him from the game, but I think he was in Stomp the Yard, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, Not the '70s porn star mustache. We call it a porn stash. A porn stash. Was Pooch Hall in Stomp the Yard? Yeah, he was in one of them little movies or whatever like that. But I know he was in the game on that television show, The Game. Anyway, can somebody from the Mod Squad chat go grab that link to that tweet and put it in the chat for me, please? Somebody from the Mod Squad chat, because apparently, allegedly, his meat pictures, thank you, so Jeff, leaked, and there you are. It was unimpressive. I'm not saying it was small. It wasn't small. It was borderline boyfriend size. I'll let y'all be the judge of it. I mean, if you're a BBW, I don't know if that could be enough to handle what you need. I'm just saying. If you're one of my beautiful black queens that have a whole lot of cushion for the pushing, I don't know if that's gonna satisfy your ugly needs. It won't satisfy my ugly needs, and I ain't even that big. But it's borderline. What we saw was borderline. Let me take this price tag off before people start to try to read me about my price tag still being on my cheesecake from Publix. You know, Publix, like people say I work at Publix, dear God, Lord. So yeah, y'all can peruse on over there and look at this. Listen, this carrot cake, y'all, it's got 4 layers. It is so good. This is easily some of the best carrot cake in the world, child. Some of the best carrot cake in the world. Listen, y'all. Mm. Let me put that down. I'm gonna put that down. That's dangerous. Cause I sit my fat self here and eat the whole thing. That's dangerous. Hey, Mom Chip, boo. You say it's a 6 out of 10. Tracy, I give it a good 5. If I'm judging it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not talking about the size, but I'm saying on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 or 5. Catch me on a good day. I ain't have no crab legs today, Monk Chip. I ain't have none today. What I had some chicken, some barbecue that I ordered in. I ate some of that. I had some watermelon. I got my drink. Got some gin. Got my drink. I got me some sickening carrot cake from Publix. Ah, even my best friend, when I called him today, he said, "You got crabs today?" I said, "I ain't even had no crabs today." He said, "Bro, you tripping. You supposed to have crabs on Memorial Day." Child, I might go get some. So we done seen Governor Hot Wheels. We done seen Pooh Charles meat pictures, alleged meat pictures. Now I'm saying alleged because when you look at the video, you can't see his face. No, it's not right to the meats, Jason. You came late. What's going on, bro? You can't see his face. You can't see any distinguishable tattoos. So we're just going to say this is alleged. We'll see if he confirms that that is or is not him. Now, the person who the meat pictures was taken from is usually credible. Now, I know I have some really credible sources. That person, Slap My Fatty, is usually pretty credible in their meats that they get. I'm just saying. So allegedly, that's Pooch Hall. We'll see. We'll see. What before we go into the first story of the day, let's get our first palate cleanser on out the way. Let's see. Since it's Memorial Day, I had this one here. This is for Memorial Day. I gave y'all some people in military camos. There you go. That's gonna be our first one in honor of Memorial Day. There you go. There you go. There you go. Before we get into our first story, there we go. I'm just saying. They can do they can get it. They can get it. They're giving me what I need. That's our first palate cleanser of the day. Deli meats. I'm not doing this with you, Jason. Jason is silly. You are silly, Jason. Deli meats, dear God. Mm-mm. So, our first story today comes from the great state of Georgia in the beautiful city of Atlanta. The first story today apparently is filled with bitch assness because our first story and our last stories involve what people allege to be bitch assness. So I know I missed that. I was at a funeral Saturday. I could not. I was in Florida at a funeral. I could not come on and do what I do Saturday because I was at a funeral that morning. I had to be at the funeral. It was a sudden death. I had to be there. Couldn't get out of it. Had to buy expensive plane tickets and go and make that happen. So that's why I wasn't on Silly Saturday. Anyway, so the first story is bitch assness within the city of the capital city of bitch assness, Atlanta. Thank you, Monk Chip. And um T.I.'s son, whose name is King, decided that it was a good idea dear God, for him to go off on the people down to the Waffle House. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna play the video because the video, you don't really see nothing in the video. You just, so the video is of no consequence. I'm gonna let you hear the audio so you can have context. Now, this is T.I.'s son King, who is that big. Okay. Bruh is like, T.I. is a little bitty something. And I think he's taller than his son. Like T.I. is a good what, 5'5", 5'5", maybe 5'6". He's a little something. And the son, I think, is shorter than him. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all hear. You ain't got the video. You don't really see nothing in the video anyway. But I'm gonna let y'all hear this audio. Hold on. Here it is. Please don't play a commercial.
This ain't your fucking restaurant. This ain't your fucking restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And file your shit. What? On game what? On game what? Come here. I'll tell you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. We out here. We out here. I'm outside. I'm outside. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Hey, get your employees. Get your employees. Yeah, something in this. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. And you still talk inside though. You still talking inside though. Why you inside? You can't stop me from doing shit. I'm doing shit. Let me get my food. Thank you. Just talking like they like that, they ain't like that. Before I get back here and pistol with them. Fuck. Wait till I get back and see him out here late night. Wait till I slap the gun. Alright, yeah. Yeah, wait. Wait till I come back in the market late night. And then it's just you and I slap you up. Yeah.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole video. Now, Atlanta certainly is not a Miami. It ain't Brooklyn. It ain't a lot of other. It ain't Chicago. It ain't a whole lot of other. It ain't parts of DC. But let's be clear. Little Tink Tink, Mr. King. Hey, Tanya Boo, who is born and raised in what, Buckhead? Don't they live like over in Buckhead, some goddamn where? Bruh, you like this big over here talking cash money shit. Like you really about this life. Like you really born in the ghetto, raised in the hood. Like you just about that. Like you really over here throwing hands. Like you really over here thumping. Like somebody really over here scared of your little bitty ass who, like somebody said, looks like Tiny before the surgeries. Bruh, no disrespect to the light skinned delegation. Okay. However, your little high yellow dead. I almost said something. Let me dial it back. Oh, I almost called him something. But bruh, let me just say this. Bruh, I could thump this. I could just thump the shit out of your forehead and your throat, and you're crawling to the fucking fetal position, little boy. Like he over there he is over there talking cash money shit. Like he is just about that. Like he big. And I'm sure everybody in this restaurant is looking at this motherfucker like, really? If you don't go sit your leg, bruh, really? Bruh, really? You don't have the looks that the women want. You don't have the look that us the girls want. Nobody wants you. Nobody's paying you any mind. Nobody's paying you attention. You're allegedly an honor student. You just allegedly graduated with honors. Boom. Gone somewhere. Gone off to college. Your mama and daddy's gonna pay for it. Gone off and live your little, cupcake life that you've been living. But please don't be out here rolling around the streets like you gangster and like you about that life and like you about to beat somebody at. Ti, get your damn kids. Get your damn kids. Get your raggedy ass. This is what happens when the likes of a Clifford Harris and Tamika, what's her last name? Um, why I can't think of this girl last name? Coddle, that's what it is. And Tamika Coddle, this is what they produce. The level of bitch assness. This is bitch assness. You're like Puffy's kids. You know what I'm saying? Or like Russell Simmons' kid. You can't go around here acting like you thugged out and gangster. You ain't about that life. You're not about that life. You can't pretend to be about that life. Nothing about you is hard. You're soft. They call you Charmin. Next thing you know, you're going to get popped in the mouth. You're going to run over there to your raggedy ass daddy. Oh, they hit me. Daddy, they hit me. Listen, listen. That young man looks like he wears thongs everywhere he goes. He gives me the look of somebody who, if you like, he has a permanent something up this crack of his ass. Like he has a permanent set of thongs, something riding up the crack of his ass. That's what he looks like. He's one of those girls. He looks like he's somewhere right now touching his toes or putting footprints on ceilings for somebody. That is what you give me. What you don't give me, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo. What you do not give me is anybody that's about their life. Now, and don't get it twisted, because a lot of the girls in our community over here in the Rainbow Coalition, all those of us who reside in the Rainbow Coalition compounds, the film girls, they will beat your ass. They fight. That's what they do. They throw hands. That's what they do. The girly girls, they fight for real, for real. You ain't one of them. You ain't even one of them. Baby, you just like to either touch your toes or put footprints on ceilings. I ain't said it had to be for man either. You give me that you want to give the illusion of being straight, so you go in there with a woman and ask her to peg you. You give me someone who likes to get pegged. You give me someone who likes to get pegged. This cocktail is extra good today. I mean, bruh, you do realize you're Ti and Tiny's child, right? You do realize that you're the offspring of Clifford Harris and Tamika Cottle. Hey, Bobo, this is what we're dealing with, people. This is what the fuck we're dealing with. You, bruh, you do realize Not Peggy Bundy. I'm not doing it. Not Peggy Fleming. Peg Bundy. I tell y'all all the time, I am the sideshow. The real show is going on over here in the chats, okay? The real show is over here in the chats. I'm just the sideshow, okay? I'm just giving you a little something to look at because I'm the sideshow. But the real show is going on over here in the chats. These people over here are clowning, straight clowning. That is what the real show is. Shouts out to everybody in the comment in the live chat who are clowning right now. But you do know. I mean, he gives me, you know, he likes a good pegging. You know, TL said it. I ain't too proud to peg. TLC said it. That's what TLC said. I ain't too proud to peg. Ooh, ooh, God. No, I ain't too proud to peg. Oh, dear God. Mm. Let me take another spoonful of this good ass carrot cake. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this with y'all because y'all like doing a whole lot over here. Don't blame me, Chucky Finster. Y'all are silly, and I live for it. This is what we. This is how we celebrate Memorial Day. We gotta have a good time. Mm. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. Listen, y'all, that is so good. Oh dear God. Shit. So that was our first story. He should get your damn kids, Ti. Get your goddamn kids, okay? His daddy did respond. I didn't really pay attention to it. I only listened to bits and pieces because Ti's voice at this point is like the brown noise. I know at some point they did have all them content. You know what? I'm not doing this. Oh, I can't stand you, Jason. Oh, but he said, "Oh, what did he say? He said something about he needs to make better choices or whatever. I think that's what he said. Um, um, because Ti came out and said that his son graduated with honors at 17, and then he went on to say, "I don't understand what we're living in when this is what we'd rather promote." Nobody's promoting anything. Your stupid ass son went live on his, I think it's Instagram or whatever. I hope the next time he goes to Waffle House, someone ejaculates in his eggs or something. Not PhD from prison vocabulary. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with y'all. Y'all are silly. And with that, it's time for another palate cleanser because I need my palate cleansed from you people. Dear God, let me see what I got here for y'all. Let me put that young man right there up there for you. There you go. I really like his profile. Like I'm subscribed to him. He really gives me life abundant. There's a little palette cleanser for y'all. I love that color against his skin. Sometimes when you have a color like that, that's kind of close to your skin tone, it doesn't quite work. But for him, it's working with the sunlight shining or whatever, be it sunlight or be it artificial light, shining on that skin, the melanin popping, it's giving everything. And if you go to that exact post, he had like 3 or 4 pictures. I just chose that one, but he had like I think 3 pictures from that photo shoot. Let me just say that to the photographer. Everything. Yeah, that's our palette cleanse. That's one of our palette cleansing. Do we need another? Here's another palette cleansing. There you go. That's our Haitian sensation right there. He got a Haitian flag draped around him. The melanin is popping. The pineapple is there. Ooh, child, let me drink my drink on that one. Ooh, yes. Praise God. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Mm, that right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, those are our palate cleanses. Praise God. Praise God. Mm. Hey, Joshua. Hey, LaDonna. Hey, everybody coming in. What in the 90s mustard brown is going on? Of course, it's going to be a no for you. But that was cute. It was cute. He was he was wearing that color. He was wearing that color. And then the other one was wearing the Haitian flag. He was wearing the Haitian flag. Listen, I purposely left their names up there. So if you wanted to go and follow them on Instagram, you could go to Instagram and follow them with clothes on or off. Anyway, so y'all, um, so this next story, y'all, is a curious story. It's a very curious story. When I don't know what's going on with my internet, y'all. I'm sorry about that. When I first saw this story, I thought, oh, this is, I'm going to feel one way about it. But as I got more into the story, I'm conflicted. And I hate to give y'all this story and have y'all mind like, which way do I go? But it's a conflicting story. Now, you may have heard about this story. This is the story of former Virginia Tech linebacker is Izzy Memon Etute. That's his name. Izzy Memon Etute. Izzy Memon Etute is his name. He's a former Virginia Tech linebacker, excuse me. He played on the Virginia Tech football team. He was accused of killing a Tinder date who gave him oral sex. Um, he was acquitted. He was charged with second-degree murder. Now, the story gets very interesting from there. Very interesting. Now, y'all pay attention. I'm just going to call him, his last name is Atute. So we're going to call him Mr. Atute, okay? Mr. Atute, a Virginia, let me read this article for y'all, and y'all can go from here. Because this is he is black, okay, just so you know. But the story pulls you in all directions. So listen to the story, and we'll go. He just got acquitted. He's a Virginia Tech freshman. He was a Virginia Tech freshman linebacker at the time of the incident in May of last year. He had been charged with second-degree murder, which carries a sentence of 5 to 40 years. And the jury could have convicted him on the lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter. Instead, the jury believed a self-defense argument that Mr. Atute feared for his life after seeing the victim, quote, make a reach, end quote, toward his bed where a knife was later found. So, I don't know. I don't follow Conscious TV. I have nothing to do with that young man. Yeah, I don't follow that young man and all he has going on over there. Yeah, we don't do that young man over here. I mean, no, I mean you can go follow him, but I don't really do him over there. I mean, it's the perm and all of that for me that yeah, we don't do all of that. Anyway, um Atute collapsed in tears as the verdict was read, with cheers erupting from a contingent of about 30 family members, supporters, and former teammates. Now, I told y'all this was the story that I was supposed to talk about last week, but I had to go out of town and stuff like that, so I'm just getting to it today. I originally saw it Thursday. I believe I saw it Thursday, and I wanted to talk about it either on a live Friday or on Silly Saturday, but I was out of town for a funeral, so I couldn't do it. Um, oh no, it's not that cut and dry. It's not that cut and dry. So Jeff, it's not that cut and dry. Oh, I love everybody, but when people try and come for me, then I have to drag them, like I had to drag him. I don't play with people. You come at me, bitch, I come back with reckless abandon. That's we ain't gonna even go back down that road. Anyway, let me finish read the article. After the verdict, Atute's lawyer, James Turk, said his client deserved a second chance at a football career following the jury's decision. His attorney went on to say, quote, I think he's earned the right to go back to school and further his academic and sports career. I think the school that ends up taking him is going to get probably a lot wiser and a smarter, an exceptional athlete. Here's what happened. So Mr. Atute was arrested on January 2nd, 2021, and charged with the May 31st, 2021 murder of Jerry Smith, a local Blacksburg, Virginia man who had posed as a woman online to meet straight college-aged men. According to testimony, Mr. Atute first connected with Jerry Smith in April of 2021 on the dating app Tinder, with Smith posing as a woman going by the name Angie Renee. Along with teammate Deshaun Elder, Mr. Atute went to Jerry Smith's Blacksburg apartment on April 10th under the assumption he was meeting a woman. Deshaun Elder testified that he was disturbed by the circumstances of the meeting, in which Jerry Smith hid his face and kept his apartment nearly pitch dark. Both players initially left, but Mr. Atute returned to the apartment and testified that he received oral sex and a $50 gift from Jerry Smith. Mr. Atute testified that he left the April 10th encounter still believing Mr. Smith was a woman, but teammates later began teasing him that his sexual partner could have been a man. On May 31st, another Virginia Tech player, Jalen Hampton, also connected with Angie Renee, Jerry Smith, on Tinder. He too went to the apartment expecting an asexual encounter with a woman, but decided to leave after feeling uncomfortable. Jalen Hampton and Jerry Smith then both made contact with Mr. Atute, with Jerry encouraging Mr. Atute to, quote, put in a good word, end quote, with his teammate. So Jerry Smith contacted Mr. Atute and told, because Mr. Atute had went back by himself. Remember, he went first with his friend Deshaun Elder, and that didn't go well, so they both left. But Atute went back by himself, got head and $50. from Jerry Smith, who he thought was a woman. So Jerry Smith went on Tinder again and reached out to another Virginia Tech football player, who's that's the person we're talking about, who is Jalen Hampton. And when he was there with Jalen Hampton, he reached back out to Mr. Atute to say, hey, put in a good word for me, okay? With your teammate, let him know my skills are good. So that's where we're at right now. Everybody with me? We got the story so far. All right, here's where we go from here. Mr. Atute and Jalen Hampton, along with a third teammate, said they all three went to Jerry Smith's apartment, and they went to the apartment. Jalen Hampton and that third teammate stayed in the car. They stayed in the car while Mr. Atute went into the apartment by himself to get some head. Both teammates waited outside in the car and were not charged with a crime. Mr. Atute engaged with Jerry Smith on a bed. Mr. Atute said he, quote, felt around, end quote, and used his cell phone's flashlight to determine that Jerry Smith was not a woman. Upon confronting Jerry Smith, Mr. Atute testified that Smith grabbed his genitals. So when Mr. Atute said, hey, you a goddamn man, this is what Mr. Atute is testify. He testified that Jerry Smith grabbed Mr. Atute's genitals, at which point Mr. Atute testified that he struck Jerry Smith in the face with the back of his hand. He then testified that he then believed Mr. Smith reached for a weapon under his bed, causing he testified that Jerry Smith reached for a weapon under his bed, causing Mr. Atute to strike Jerry Smith with a fist several more times. During a police search of the apartment, a knife was indeed found between Mr. Smith's mattress and the box spring, but Mr. Atute testified he never saw the knife, and he did not mention any concerns for his own safety during the initial police interview on January 2nd. So here's what we got. When they picked him up on January 2nd, he mentioned nothing of a knife. He mentioned nothing about him thinking that Jerry Smith had a knife. He mentioned none of that. He mentioned, dude grabbed my dick and I whooped his ass. Basically. Let me keep going. On July 1st, this is July 1st, not June 1st, because remember that was June 2nd when the initial interview happened. On July 1st, just more than a month after Smith's death, because remember Jerry Smith died on May 31st, Virginia passed a bill. Now this is it all gets real hairy from here, y'all. Virginia, the state of Virginia, a month after the death and after Mr. Atute was arrested, Virginia passed a bill restricting the use of the so-called gay panic defense, in which a defendant accused of homicide could receive a lesser sentence by saying they panicked after finding out the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity. Y'all see, this is just getting so hairy. It's getting real hairy at this point. So just a month before that, July 1st, meaning when Mr. Atoot was arrested, if you were someone who killed someone, and this is why we have the All Black Lives Matter when we're talking about our trans sisters and so forth. A lot of our black trans sisters in the state of Virginia, you could get a lesser crime. You could get charged with a lesser crime if the person that was not just presented themselves to you as a different sex than the sex that they were born with, and you could get a lesser crime because you could. It was called the gay panic defense. That's literally what it was called, and you could get a lesser crime and lesser time. But on July 1st, you could no longer do that. A law was passed. The judge in Mr. Atoot's case ruled that the new legislation did not apply to this case as it was enacted after the incident took place, though Atoot's attorney argued it likely would not have altered the outcome of the trial. Yeah, it's easy for you to say that after he's acquitted. This is a whole mess, y'all, a whole mess. Mr. Atoot also testified Mr. Atoot also testified that he stomped on Jerry Smith's face as he departed the apartment, leaving a bloody shoe print on Mr. Smith's cheek in the process. Security camera footage in the apartment showed all three players leaving the complex quickly, with Atoot having spent only 3 minutes inside Jerry Smith's apartment. Mr. Atoot testified that Jerry Smith was still breathing when he left, and the state's forensic detective testified the entire attack likely took only a few seconds. An autopsy report by the medical examiner showed nearly every bone in Jerry Smith's face was broken. Let me say that again. An autopsy report by the medical examiner showed that nearly every bone in Jerry Smith's face was broken. He suffered bleeding of the brain and had teeth fragments missing. In closing arguments Friday, the prosecution said, this is the previous Friday, not Friday just past, but Friday before that. The prosecution said Mr. Atoot's recollection of events did not include a reach toward the area where the knife was hidden until after he'd been charged with murder. So let me put that together for you. His initial interview made no mention of Jerry Smith reaching for anything until after he was charged with murder, and then he added that part in there. But in his original police interview, he didn't make any mention of a knife. He said he never saw a knife. He made no mention of Jerry Smith reaching for anything. Y'all see how this is getting real hairy? All of that came after they charged him with second-degree murder. Mr. Atoot's attorney made arguments that Mr. Atoot could not be convicted of second-degree murder because there was no malice in his actions, and that he should be found not guilty by reason of self-defense, based on his fear that Jerry Smith had hidden a weapon. Mind you, they didn't find out that Jerry Smith had a weapon underneath his mattress until after they charged Mr. Atoot with second-degree murder, and that's when magically the story changed. Do I need to remind you again? Nearly every bone in Mr. Atute's face was broken. He had bleeding in the brain and all of it. It's a lot. Oh, I forgot to add, Jerry Smith is a white man. Mr. Atute is a black man. Now, I, that's a lot for you to break every bone in someone's body in that amount of time. And then he admitted in his testimony that he did stomp on Mr. Two testified that he did stomp on Jerry Smith's face, even after he had done beat this man down and bloodied every bone in his body. I'm sorry, not bloody, but broken, not every bone in his body, but almost every bone in his face. I told y'all this was a lie. I told y'all when you go in thinking one way, you then get tugged on both sides. Like this shit is like, what the fuck am I? What's going on? Like it's a lot to this case, y'all. It's really so much. When I read up on it last week, I was like, what in the fuck is happening? Now, his attorney, listen, his attorney worked overtime. Listen, Mr. Atute owed his attorney a debt of gratitude. But no, from see, that's what from what I'm understanding and what was presented in the case, they were saying that the other two guys never went into the apartment. And what was presented in the case that all of this only happened and it only took a, a few seconds for this to happen because the footage showed that Mr. Atu was only in the apartment for 3 minutes and that the other guys um were stayed in the car. Listen, during closing arguments, Mr. Atu's attorney broke out into tears. Do you hear me? Mr. Atu's attorney broke out into tears and said in the closing argument while crying and sobbing, quote, he is one of the finest young men I've ever had the experience of meeting, end quote. He also noted that the entire situation came about only because of Jerry Smith's, quote, deliberate, deliberate, wicked sexual rouge, end quote. Mr. Atu did not speak to reporters after the trial ended, but his attorney said he hoped this case will provide a lesson for people using social media apps in the future. The attorney goes on to say, quote, it should be an eye-opener not just for college athletes, but any young people. For any young people using these social media platforms, they can be extremely useful, but they can be extremely dangerous, end quote. I don't know. This whole case, y'all, just sit my head just all topsy turvy. Like I just don't know exactly what. Oh, I should also mention that Mr. Atute did say that he knew that Mr. Smith, that Jerry Smith was breathing because he heard, quote, bubbling and gurgling as he left the apartment. After nearly breaking every bone in the man's face. Now, according to the testimony and what forensics officers testified as well, all of this happened mainly because of punches to Mr. Smith's face and the one stomp on Mr. Smith's face. I don't know. That's just what the testimony said. But he heard, quote, bubbling and gurgling as he left the apartment, which meant that Jerry Smith was still breathing as he left. See, I came into this thinking that I would be on Mr. Atute's side. I forgot to add the part where Mr. Atute told his role. Remember when he went and got hit the first time? When he got hit the first time and was okay with it by himself, and went back and told his teammates, and the teammates said, I don't think that's a woman, I think that's a dude. And he said, man, even if that was a dude, I would just leave the apartment and not go back. That ain't what happened. You ain't just leave the apartment and didn't go back. Now, I was going to be on Mr. Atute's side in the beginning because I was like, yeah, Jerry Smith, you shouldn't be trying to fool people like that. However, if and when this happened, even if you had a moment of anger and rage, you did a lot. But you had to really you had to be trying to end this person. If you broke if the autopsy report shows that you nearly broke every bone in the man's face, and then you even testified to stomping on the man's head before you went out, and you said you, quote, heard bubbling and gurgling as you left out, bro, you were trying to kill him. I'm not stomping like Kirk Franklin. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this with y'all. He was okay with it and returned to remember, he didn't go by himself. It was two other teammates. They stayed in the car. Listen. What happened to the days of you being in college? You seeing some skank, you going, bringing her back to your dorm room, you getting you some sloppy toppy, and you going on with life. What happened to those days? Now we got people ending people's lives. Now we got people pretending to be women that are actually men. This case is a lot. It's a whole lot. I ain't on either side at this point. I'm not on Jerry Smith's side. I'm not on Mr. Atute's side. It's I wanted to bring that to y'all so y'all head could start spinning like mine, because this case is just a whole lot, okay? Just an entire lot. And with that, it's time for palate cleanse. If there was ever a time we needed palate cleansers, dear God, it is now. Okay, let's get a palate cleanser or two. Dear God, can I get a palate cleanser? Oh, dear God, that was a lot. I told y'all it was gonna be a lot. I told y'all. Oh God. It's just a lot. Here's another one. We need a palate cleanser. We definitely need palate cleansers after that. That whole case just made my head spin again. Let me take another spoonful of my carrot cake while y'all are glancing at the palate cleanser. Dear God. Oh, dear God. Mm. Mm. So good. All right, I'm back. There's no evidence that he returned multiple times. They looked at the video camera, the documentation from the surveillance camera said it was 3 minutes he stayed in the house total. Exactly, Jason. The blowjob, the sloppy toppy is the gift. You don't get money in return for sloppy toppy. The sloppy toppy is what you came there for. There's no money that goes along with the sloppy toppy. You get the sloppy toppy, you get one off, they get one inside of their mouth, and then you go on with life. Where's this stuff with this? That's Generation Z for y'all. Listen, that's the story. That's the kind of story right there that gives you headaches. So let's get to the not T.I., dear God, the Monique and D.L. Hughley situation. Listen. This D.L. Hughley and Monique situation. Just go ahead and pour another shot, Quinn. I know y'all over at the beach. Listen, you going on and hang out at the beach and just have another shot. Yes. And with that, I'll have another drink. Care. Monique, I'm going to play the audio from part of it. Now, let's be clear. For those people who don't know what we're talking about, Monique and D.L. Hughley were both scheduled for this comedy show, okay? According to the posters from said comedy show, they both were headlining. When you look at the posters and the flyers and the press from it, it says D.L. Hughley, comedy show, ... featuring D.L. Hughley and Monique. So they both were headlining, if I'm looking at the flyer. Monique took issue because she said her contract told her that she was the headliner, and as the headliner, she's supposed to go last. How do you, because clearly, Monique, you never saw D.L. Hughley's contract. So his contract could very well have also said he was a headliner. For all you know, we ain't seen your contract. We ain't seen his contract. We ain't seen neither one of their contracts. The only thing we've seen thus far is the flyers and promotional advertisements. I ain't gonna say advertisements. Advertisements, which said both D.L. Hughley and Monique. D.L. Hughley also showed the schedule of events that the people in charge of the show produced, which said that it was Monique, then Intermission, then D.L. Hughley. Oh, he posted the contract today. Did the contract say that he was the headliner? Because Monique ain't produced a goddamn thing. She's over there ranting and raving, and we ain't seen not one nary thing come out of her camp showing the goddamn thing. We just going off of the strength of what she said. Now, he got up there on stage. Oh, D.L. Hughley did. Thank you, sis, is a comment. And Pinky Tiki. So, according to Pinky Tiki and sis is a comment, D.L. Hughley absolutely posted his contract today, and it indeed did say he was the headliner, which goes, but what I do know is he did produce the itinerary for said comedy show, and he was last. So now that he produced a contract that says he was the headliner, Monique, you are everything that everyone said you were. You are exactly who people told us you were. And I'm going to have to drag you. I ain't going to have to drag you. I am going to drag you today. Because there's a lot of things that happened in what you said that makes you I ain't shit ass motherfucker. So you're going to get some of these good drug problems today. Because you will get drugged today. So now that we know all of that, I'm going to play y'all just a little snippet that I found of what this hooker had to say about him.
Come on, the cold train, nigga. That nigga told me, told me, let go and let go. Let go and let go. They have taught niggas to be so motherfucking beautiful and just give it to God. Let go and let God. That's why I keep hearing this shit over and over and over again. So I said, well, let me let this shit go and let me give it to God. And you know what God did? He gave it right the fuck back. He said, bitch, I gave you everything you need to deal with these motherfucking goals. Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley. I gave you everything you need to deal with these motherfucking goals. I don't fuck with nobody. See tonight. I'm gonna tell y'all what the fuck is going on because y'all know one thing about me, bitch.
That's just a little snippet. She went on this rant to talk about D.L. Hughley's wife must be sucking the dick of a coward. She went on to talk about the fact that his name is D.L., which means, y'all know what D.L. means, alluded to him being on the down low and alluded to him being homosexual. She then went on to talk about the fact that, see, this is what they do to a black woman, because how can a man be here about putting a black woman down? But didn't your bitch ass just put a black woman down by talking about this man's wife? Then she went on this whole rant about, see, that's where I draw the line when you start to talk about families, because I don't believe that anybody should talk about anybody's family. But you just spent several minutes talking about this man's wife and talking about his wife is sucking the dick of a coward. Really? Really? Because last time I checked, even if I was on your side, Monique, and your fault was with D.L. Hughley, why did his wife have to be drugged into this? Because that woman ain't never did anything to you. And clearly, according to the receipts that we're actually being given, he ain't did nothing to you in this case. D.L. Hughley did nothing wrong. D.L. Hughley did exactly what his contract said. His contract said you're the headliner. The itinerary and the schedule of events produced by the people in charge of the event said that he goes last. And what did he do? He went last. The problem is you. The problem is you and your hubris and your ego. That is the problem, Monique. She then goes on to talk about, I've been in this business 30 years. And listen, I negate the argument. Whenever people have to tell me I've been doing something for 30 years, Noble, that means nothing to me. Because there have been people who have been doing things for 30 years and have been doing them incorrectly or been doing them the wrong way. So just because you've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean you've been doing it right. Now let me drag you, Monique, because this whore has allegedly, for in years past, called herself an ally of the LGBTQ plus community. And at this moment, this member of the LGBTQ plus community, oh, right. We all know D.L. Hughley done been in the game 30 plus years as well. So this whole argument that she's making is null and void because both of them been in the game about the same amount of time. She went on to talk about how, oh, you open for the kings of comedy and I close for the queens of comedy. So that means that you ain't shit and I am the shit. What? Because I guarantee you, Monique, had you been put on any type of comedy show with the 4 people from the Kings of Comedy, you would have opened for all of them, to include D.L. Hughley. You're talking D.L. Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, and Steve Harvey. And let's be clear, Monique, if there was a comedy show to include those 4 individuals and you would be opening. Hard stop. I ain't going there with you, Monique. My problem with you, Monique, is the fact that you thought that your best way of cutting at him or getting at him or having a retort or having a read for him was to call him into question his sexuality and call him gay, and which means that you are not an ally of the community, because an ally of the community would know that that's not a read. You stupid ass dick fuck. You stupid ass whore. That is not a read if you are a true ally. That is a read only if you are someone who's a bigot. That is a read only when you are someone who's a homophobe. You don't get, Monique, to throw out reads against someone's sexual orientation if you're an ally. This is why the people haven't seen it for you. But all the while, it's been like D.L. Hughley, because D.L. Hughley did a whole response. And he said, it's always everybody else and not you. But clearly, we see that the problem is you. You couldn't even be professional. Let's be clear. Nobody in that audience had any clue that anything was wrong or that there was a problem. So if y'all had an issue backstage or if there was a problem, a professional never lets on stage the problems going on backstage. That's what professionals do. Even if shit was real fucked up. A professional gets their ass on stage and they do the goddamn job with fervency and zeal. They do the best job because that's what the people paid for, because that's what the people came for. They didn't come there for you and your fuck shit. They didn't come there because like you claim to be, hey, Lamone Boo, hey, Auntie Didi, you claim to be this ally of the community, but you come on stage and you start making jokes and shit about being LGBTQ. You make it where now people should feel bad if they're deemed to be LGBTQ, but you claim that you're an ally. You come on stage. That's just like if you're a singer. Lamone is in here. He's a singer. If a singer is backstage and they upset because sound check ain't go well and they upset because they ain't got the right lighting or the writer wasn't right. When the spotlight comes on, they go on that stage. Guess what the fuck they do? They get their ass on stage and they sing their ass off. Because at the end of the day, the crowd don't know what happened backstage. The crowd don't know all of that other bullshit. The crowd paid money, and the crowd and the audience wants to see the show. They want to see you sing down, regardless of how bad the mic is, regardless of how bad the sound system is. I done seen some great professionals when the mic ain't right and the sound ain't right. Some of the great singers, you know what they do? I don't need this mic. I sing by myself because the mic ain't working. That's fine. I'm here for y'all, and I'm gonna sing my heart out. If truly she's a professional, you go the fuck out there and you do your goddamn routine. And you handle D.L. Hughley on the back end. I might have even respected you if after the show you had went on social media and went in. I wouldn't even probably be as mad. But you did this during the show, which proves the unprofessionalism that everybody talked about. So now you look like the unhinged one. Now you look like the one that's batshit crazy. Because like the old adage goes, if everybody's wrong and you're right, guess who's really wrong? This whore had a whole fucking meltdown and didn't even have all the receipts, didn't even have all answers to all questions. She's going off on D.L. Hughley as if D.L. Hughley made the calling list or whatever, or made the schedule of events, as if D.L. Hughley himself made the goddamn press promo, as if D.L. Hughley wrote the contract, as if, oh, I done been in the game 30 years. I don't take a backseat to nobody. If this says I'm the headline, I'm the headliner. Who the fuck is D.L. Hughley? Well, technically, D.L. Hughley is somebody who's been in the game just as long as you have. Granted, you may have an Oscar, and he does not. But right now, that Oscar ain't doing a whole lot for you, boo-boo. 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 That Oscar haven't been helping you in the last 10 years, have it? And your hubris after winning that Oscar is why you are where you're at. That Oscar is probably the worst thing that happened to you. People point to her husband all of the time. I'm not going to even say it's that, because based on just what we saw in her antics in this comedy show, it ain't the husband, it's her. She's the battery in her husband's back. The husband is not the battery in her back. Winning that Oscar went to her head, absolutely. And her hubris and her pride is why she is where she is. She seems to believe that, oh, I am here and the rest of humanity is here. She's one of these people that go around saying, do you know who the fuck I am? Hey, Michael Anderson. And real people who truly have amassed greatness and who are higher than you are, sweetheart, they still, the true work, the true nature of someone who truly is a great person, they don't have that level of hubris. You're talking about people who have several Oscars. Look at somebody like a Denzel Washington. How many Oscars Denzel Washington? I know he got 2. He might have 3. I know Denzel Washington got 2 Oscars. I know he has 2. I think he has 3. But what I'm saying is Denzel Washington, even if behind the scenes he is a diva and he got all of this hubris, when we see him and he presents himself, he doesn't do that. And there are a whole lot of people who behind the scenes we've heard a whole lot of horrible things about, but guess what? The viewing public has never done. They never seen it. Every time the camera comes on and that person comes on, they know how to be a professional. They know how to make it, say the right things and do the right thing. Clearly, you do not. I mean, listen, I've always believed if you have to tell me how great you are, then clearly you're not that great. When you have to tell me who you are, hey, Ashton, what's going on, Ashton? Clearly, you aren't exuding or you aren't exhibiting what you say you are what you say you are. Because if you're truly that thing, you don't have to tell anybody. I just gave you the example of a Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington does not have to go in a room and say, "Do you know who the hell I am?" He does not have to go in a room and say, "Oh, I am great. I'm this, that, and the third." He could just walk in the room and people automatically know it. What is what is understood doesn't need to be said. Like my grandfather always said, if your resume and your reputation speaks for you, then don't interrupt. Let me say that again for you, Monique. If your resume and your reputation speaks for you, then don't interrupt. And for the last 10 years after you won the Oscar, instead of letting your resume and your reputation speak for you, you've been interrupting. I take that back. You haven't been interrupting. You've been trying to show us what your real reputation is. You're an awful individual. You're an awful individual because, see, the whole read against the LGBTQ plus community, because what you did was I found that not only to be a read against D.L. Hughley, but I found that to be a slight and a read against the LGBTQ plus community when you tried to allude to D.L. Hughley being gay as if that was a bad thing. Mind you, we all know D.L. Hughley is not gay. The man is married and has been married for quite some time. You even drug his wife into this. Even for your whole women's empowerment. Oh, don't do black women like that. You had the nerve to drag his wife, who is a black woman, into this. You're just throwing stones at everybody for no reason. D.L. Hughley didn't deserve any of this smoke. The LGBTQ community didn't deserve any of that smoke. D.L. Hughley's wife, who is a black woman, didn't deserve any of this smoke. And the audience to which you were supposed to be entertaining deserved none of this fuck shit that you put out here. You ain't shit. And I hope that nobody allows you any more time on television or on their platforms. I said it. You can be mad. You are exactly what the people said you were. You are exactly what everybody said you were. A horrible human being. I guess when you had did she have the surgery? Did she have a surgery to lose weight? I thought she had surgery to lose weight, where they sucked out all of the good parts and left all of the bad parts. They sucked out all of the good parts of you and left all of the bad parts. When you shed that weight, you shed off all of the good parts of who you were, and all we're left with, the remnants, is just the bad parts of who you are. You raggedy ass excuse for a human being. A horrible person is the one that blames everybody for what happens to you, except for accepting accountability for your part in it. And we're seeing that play out. D.L. Hughley was absolutely spot on when he said, "You are showing everybody exactly who you are and what everybody said you were, a horrible human being." People were rooting for you. People wanted to see the good in you, but you continue to show us who you are, and there is no good there. I hope that Oscar gives you comfort at night, you raggedy whore. All of this is her doing. All of this is on her. All of it. None of this this is, I can't, like I told y'all, people have blamed her husband for this for years. I don't believe that anymore. This is all her, as opposed to the husband being a battery in her back. She's the battery in her husband's back. And I believe she's the one who goes to her husband and say, "You need to go to them and go to these people and tell them I want this. You need to go to them and tell them that I want that and tell them that I want this and that." She's the one that does that. I promise you this, her. They are, Lamone. Her delusions of grandeur, absolutely. They're on steroids. It's ridiculous. Lamone, I'm still going to be eternally upset with you because I missed the old Avatar picture with the guns. Bring back the gun show, Lamone. Me and all the ladies in all of the chats want the gun show back, Lamone. Bring back the gun show. Can you bring back the gun show, Lamone? We're all clamoring for the gun show. I'm just saying. I know that you love the ladies, and the ladies love you, and some of us on this side too. We want the gun show back. Bring back the gun show. But yeah, she went on to talk about him being a bitch ass nigga and all of this, that, and the thing. The shit was awful. It was uncalled for. It was horrible. And it shows us who she is. It shows us absolutely who she is. A mess. A mess. Anyway, while I go to my next thing, we gonna get off that. Let's have a palate cleanser or two. Palate cleanser is the time. What was my last palate cleanser? Do that one. There's a palate cleanser for you. It's my as we go to our next story. There's a palate cleanser for you. Yeah, Monique is a horrible person. She's a horrible person. She's just horrible. That's a grown ass man right there, y'all. That's a grown ass man. Here's another palate cleanser. Mm. All right, so those were our two palate cleansers. So I wonder why Vegas didn't ask her back. Child. Did I do good with my palate cleansers today? We had good palate cleansers today, right? Good palate cleansers. Yes. On the palate cleansers today. Not that his daddy played on the wire. Played which character on the wire? Like his daddy played which character on the wire? Move. Everything in my way. All right, so today, y'all, with it being Memorial Day, we got a lot of picnics, cookouts, kickbacks, shindigs, going on pool parties, beach parties, and everything going on. It is the official start of summer. It is the start of cookout, picnic, kickback season, pool party, beach party, down by the lake party season. Um, the black man who married what black man married the stripper on the wire? Now I remember um um Avon Barksdale's nephew was in love with the stripper in season one. What was D'Angelo was yeah, D'Angelo Barksdale. Remember he who was over the boys, Samuel I mean Michael B. Jordan's character and all of them. He was over all of them. And D'Angelo Barksdale, he was in love with the stripper girl. Remember? That's the only one I remember with the strip. Anyway, whatever. So I went on one of my good sites, thegrio.com. Love me some thegrio.com, okay? Ciphers, circles, shindigs, yes. Sessions, yes. And they had a very good article today all about the cookout. The cookout. And it was so funny. And I said I was going to read this article for y'all and bring it to y'all. And we would have a whole discussion on Memorial Day about the cookout. Hey, Spicy Original, my love. So we're going to have this discussion about the cookout. So this article from thegrio.com, it's a cute article, real came out today. It says the official rules and revisions for the 2022 cookout season. And I thought that you all should be, aware of, according to what thegrio.com says, are the official rules and revisions for the 2022 cookout season. All right, so here what we got. It says, across Black America, people who own at least 2 family reunion t-shirts have wondered if this Memorial Day will signal the official opening of cookout season. Although the 2020 and 2021 cookout seasons were both canceled because of COVID restrictions, we know cookout season officially opens on Memorial Day and extends through the end of the last HBCU homecoming game. That is very true. It does go from now until the end of the last homecoming game. That is very true. For more than 400 years, the Black Legislative American Cookout Council, also known as BLACC, BLACC. Let me say that again. The Black Legislative American Cookout Council, better known as BLACC, BLACC, has convened at a secret location to keep grill masters, deviled egg makers, and Kool-Aid chemists appraised of the most recent developments in the field of cookoutery. We sent our reporters to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial where Black BLACC recently held its opening press conference to announce the rules for the 2022 cookout season. As usual, the guidelines have been voted on by a panel of experts to include. These are the experts, some of the experts on the panel. There are 5 experts that they listed, but there are more. The first expert is Roger, the Joker holder, Muhammad, who is described as the only person in America who has played more than 500 games of spades without ever being set. The second expert they spoke of is Alicia Green. She's the youngest woman to ever earn the aunt's approval. AUNTS is an acronym that stands for aunts, uncles, and neighbors. I'm sorry, she's earned the auntie's approval. And aunties is an acronym that stands for aunts, uncles, neighbors, trust in eating society. Aunts, uncles, neighbors, trust in eating society. Joyce Shirley Jenkins, who's described as a board-certified candy lady for more than 30 years. And I'm sorry, number 4 is James Clyde Green. He's Alicia's ride, so they let him vote. And the 5th expert they spoke of, even though there's more than 5, the 5th one they spoke of is your grandma, and she's just described as your grandma. So here's the rundown of the decisions, okay? Here's what they said. Here's the rundown. On Juneteenth, this is the announcement on Juneteenth. The first announcement answered the most pressing question of the year. Will Juneteenth become the first federal holiday added to the list of high holy cookout days since Howard University's homecoming? In a stunning decision, the executive committee tabled the discussion. Since Juneteenth also falls on Father's Day weekend this year, a planning committee will research the issue and decide whether or not they should ask dads to share their day of recognition. According to the minutes of the last meeting, Black fathers were set to give up Father's Day until they realized that meant they'd have to cut the lawn, prepare the barbecue sauce, and work on the grill on Juneteenth. How could they honor the ancestors by working for free on their day of rest? The decision will be tabled until 2024, when Juneteenth falls on a Tuesday. Here is the announcement on COVID rules. Although cookouts take place outside, Black BLACC conceded that Black America has been hit hard by the coronavirus and took steps to ameliorate the danger with new COVID restrictions for all cookouts this year that include the following. First rule of the COVID restrictions for all Black cookouts. Number 1, plate line protocol. While the rules governing the order of serving plates have been in place for more than 100 years, they will strictly enforce the order of serving. Elders first, followed by pastors, deacons, and saints of God, then tree shade mechanics, candy ladies, and finally, nieces and nephews. That's the first rule for coronavirus. Plate line protocol will be strictly enforced. The second rule is about sharing. No cups, plates, or eating utensils shall be shared, regardless of familial relationship. Brown liquor is excluded from this rule because Uncle Junebug said brown liquor kills germs, so brown liquor can be shared. The third rule of coronavirus for third coronavirus rule of all black cookouts. Sweat rag safety, because you know you need a sweat rag at the cookout. You know you need a sweat rag. All sweat rags must be tucked in a back pocket. Any sweat rag found on a table will be immediately discarded. The grill master, however, always has the right to keep his sweat rag draped on his shoulder. Rule number 4, coronavirus rule number 4 for all black cookouts. 2 macaronis rule. To maintain social distancing, 2 separate but equal pans of macaroni and cheese must be simultaneously served at all times. I am in agreement of this. That is rule number 4. Rule number 5, the last coronavirus rule we have for all black cookouts. All spades, dominoes, and Uno tables must be large enough to provide social distancing. Sadly, we must ban all sticking of the big joker on the forehead. You gotta put the joker when you got the big joker and you know you're gonna beat them. You got to put it on your forehead. You have to. Jason, you don't know what a sweat rag is? Jason, a sweat rag is established protocol at any cookout. I don't care where you go. You will take you a washcloth with you. I just take a washcloth. Some people take a whole hand towel, okay? I just need a washcloth. But you got people who need a whole ass hand towel as their sweat rag. But you would not go to a cookout without a sweat rag because you got to wipe that sweat and you need a sweat rag. All right. Here are the rules from Black BLACC regarding white people. The committee voted to extend their ban on all white people. They promised to hold another vote when, as the press release said, quote, white people start acting like they got some goddamn sense, end quote. They will revisit this issue in the year of our Lord 2122. Other people who may be black that are banned from 2022 cookouts this season. Paula Patton. Anyone who tries to do too much with their potato salad recipe. Candace Owens, whose attendance will be revisited in the year 2032. Anyone who thinks vaccines enlarges testicles, including a tracking device, anyone who thinks vaccines enlarge testicles, includes a tracking device, or gives them 5G cellular service. Whoever wrote the last episode of Atlanta, that season finale was pretty out there. It was pretty out there. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty out there. And finally, the black people excluded from the 2022 cookout season, empty-handed people. I'm just reading what Black has decided. We know that Black stands for Black Legislative American Cookout Council. Other announcements at the press release are the following. Black is dedicated to inclusion and added plant-based meat on the official 2022 menu on a trial basis. They are tired of that pesc- pescatarian cousin who wants everyone to know they stop eating meat by asking any vegan burgers. They also the next announcement, while Beyonce remix is optional, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly's Before I Let Go will remain on the official Cookout playlist. The next announcement. Because of the increase in the price of gas, the number of people who are asked to bring ice will be doubled this season to prevent anyone from having to run to the store. Next announcement. Unless the host has an official declaration of hierarchy, it's Joker Joker Ace. It's Joker Joker Ace. Now I don't agree with that rule because where I come from, it's Joker Joker Deuce Deuce. Where I'm come from, it's Joker Joker Deuce Deuce then Ace. But according to Black, it's Joker Joker Ace. Y'all let me know in the comments what it is that y'all cook out. Because at my cookout and where I play spades, it's Joker Joker Deuce Deuce then Ace. But they say it's Joker Joker Ace. I don't agree with that. This must be some DMV DC people. Next rule. Although Black does not condone body shaming, all hoochie daddies will be required to sit down in a folding chair to ensure that their stuff ain't popping out of their shorts. I don't agree with that because I'm here for all of the hoochie daddies stuff popping out of their shorts. Next rule. We will hold a brief moment of silence for those affected by recent violence at the Oscars. That's answering your question about Will Smith, Jason. Next rule. To prevent muscle and spine related injuries, we are asking all elders to stretch before engaging in any TikTok dances with younger family members. That's a good rule. Next rule. While many states have legalized marijuana since the last cookout, the designated smoking area is still way over there. However, if your cookout is held in a state where weed is legal, feel free to roll up at the domino table. Oh yeah, I mean, but at the bid whist table, ain't no jokers at the bid whist table. Now, if you play a bid whist, ain't no jokers at the bid whist table. But if you play a spades, it's Joker, Joker, Deuce, Deuce. All right. Here's the last extra announcement. Here's the last announcement. You can put a draw two on top of a draw two. But we know that you can always put a draw two on top of a draw two. That is standing rules at a black. If we play, oh no, you put your draw two, no bitch. Here's my draw two on top of yours. You draw four, or you either have a draw two to put on top of that and make the next person draw six. We done had somebody draw 32. Because what you don't do is you don't put all your draw twos out at the same time. You gotta hold them mugs just in case a bitch do exactly what they said. A bitch put a draw two on you, and you can say, "Hell nah, bitch! You get some of this draw two, you stinking whore." This whole list was so good. I said I had to bring this to y'all. I had to bring this to y'all. It's Memorial Day, and I'm here with y'all. We done been on here 2 hours, and I'm here with y'all. Okay, I'm here with y'all. Lastly, they gave us a brief word on the Juneteenth ice cream controversy. Okay, So this is a brief word from Black on the Juneteenth ice cream controversy. In a separate statement, Black condemned all corporate displays of profiteering off Juneteenth. They noted how they always have to hear about how white people love MLK every January and drink out of a fast food cup emblazoned with black fists every February. Although they didn't specifically mention Walmart, the closing prayer from Black at their press conference included a special request asking Jesus to look over anyone who eats great value ice cream. The Black Legislative American Cookout Council, or Black, was founded in Virginia in 1619 when Charles James heard a rooster crow as he sat hungry by the fire, looked at his homeboy, and said, quote, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" End quote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was an article on the recent news conference from Black. That young man heard the rooster crow, looked at his friend and said, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" I'm just saying. Now, I need y'all to put something in the chat. Put something in the chat that your family or your friends have to have at a cookout. Okay? At a cookout. Now, in my family, I don't care what, it's two things that are always at a cookout in my family. One, we gonna have seafood. Some of the giving, like you're gonna have your grilled chicken and macaroni and cheese. That goes without saying. Okay, you ain't got to include that. We know we're gonna have black music, but in my family, we always gonna have seafood rice. That seafood rice is gonna be yellow rice, which will have real lump crab meat, imitation crab meat, shrimp, and pieces of crab legs in there. I'm just my family, we gonna have it. Sometimes they even put some conch in there. Now, the other thing that is gonna be at every cookout for my family is gonna be some peach cobbler. Because my grandmother was famous for her peach cobbler. So we never have a family function without peach cobbler. We never have a family function without peach cobbler or the seafood rice. Those two. I mean, we're gonna have the other stuff that you're gonna have your greens, you're gonna have your mac and cheese. We also now I've noticed that everybody doesn't do this, and so this is more of a lot of people. You see this a lot in Florida. It actually, and people don't know, it actually comes from Bahamas, and my family is largely Bahamian. We have pigeon peas and rice too. Like we do have pigeon peas and rice. But I've gone to black cookouts and I've said y'all don't have any pigeon peas and rice, and they have no idea what pigeon peas and rice is. Not beans and rice, not peas and rice, but pigeon peas and rice. Pigeon peas are a specific type of peas. Is pigeon peas. You can go buy it from the store. But I found that when you go to different states, you can't find pigeon peas. They sell it all over Florida, but in a lot of other states I've gone to, you can't find pigeon peas. Because somebody's asked me to make them some pigeon peas and rice, and I've tried to, but you can't find it in a lot of other stores. And a lot of others. Let me see what y'all saying. So we got Yana says music, of course, music. Grilled cabbage and bacon wedges. Interesting. Okay. Pound cake. Tracy says pound cake. The spades start with the grill. The spades start with the grill is still getting ready. Okay, yeah. The spades do start with it. Grilled corn on the cob. Okay, your family gotta have corn. I love some good corn on the cob. Now you make me want some corn on the cob. Tinky tinky. Now I want some grilled corn. Oh, that would be real good. Some good corn, and you got that. But now, when you got the good sweet corn on the cob, you don't even need to put no butter on it. Like you can literally take it off the grill, pull off the husk, and eat it, and it will be so sweet and juicy. You won't even need butter on it. It'll be so good and juicy and sweet. Orange juice Coke is also a staple for our family. Orange juice Coke. So is that like orange juice with Coke in it? Interesting. Interesting. You like the white corn? Okay. I like white corn too, but I don't like it. I don't know that I've ever had grilled white corn, but I'll buy the canned white corn or the frozen white corn because I like to eat white corn like I with some of my meals. So I definitely like white corn. Vovo, when I come to DMV, are you cooking? Because I'm gonna be looking for a meal when I come to DMV, Vovo. I'm just letting you know. Next time I come to the DMV, you know I'm gonna be hanging out with Really B. We're gonna be looking for a good meal. So I'm gonna be looking for you to roll through with a good meal. The biggest thing is is if the holiday is on Monday, we cook out on Sunday so we can stay out late and rest on Monday before we go back to work. Okay. Strawberry shortcakes for your family. Okay, MBN. Okay. Now, MBN, I've been finding I've seen a lot of people that have been doing cakes in the little jar. Like I recently had like a strawberry shortcake where they put it in the jar. They have it like a little like mason jar almost, and they'll have the cake in the mason jar. And it's not a regular size mason jar, but it's like a smaller mason jar, and they'll have the cake in there. I've had strawberry shortcake in there. My aunt makes this seafood pasta. I be looking for that child. You need to get the recipe, Tracy. So when I come to New York, you can make me some. We'll have her make me some. It's also orange juice cake. Oh, oh, cake, not Coke. Oh, what is orange juice cake? That is interesting. Orange juice cake. I wonder what that recipe. I make a lot of cake. Like I do a lot of baking, so I make a ton of cheesecakes, and but I make cakes as well. My family always wants me to make either my famous yellow cake with chocolate icing that my grandmother taught me. It's a different type of chocolate icing where you don't use powdered sugar, you use actual cane sugar. But I need to love it so much. My red velvet cake is legendary. And my German chocolate cake is legendary as well. But my cheesecake, sweet potato cheesecake, Mandarin tangerine cheesecake, and a good or my good strawberry swirl cheesecake. They love that one. Those are the three they always ask for. It's delicious, but my aunt hasn't given us her recipe yet. You better get that recipe. That happened going to take that recipe to her grave. Stay up. You say she taking it to the grave. Listen, you know that's the one thing I can appreciate about my family. My family, they do not mind s- giving you the recipe. Like if you go and ask for the recipe, they say you sure you want it. They will give you the recipe. They'll say, all right, now that you have the recipe, you can make that shit from now on. I ain't making it no more. When they ask about it, it's your job to cook it from now on. That's what happened with the red velvet. The first cake I learned how to make was that yellow cake that I told y'all about with the chocolate icing. It's a butter cake. It's actually a butter cake with chocolate icing. And my grandmother showed me that. I was like 8 years old. My grandmother showed me how to make that. And she said, yeah, you're going to make this from now on. I'm not making it no more. And they always leave one specific thing out that makes it authentically theirs. But what happened, my grandmother messed up because she did leave one part out. I learned what that one part was before she died. But she did leave. She said, I never told you about this one part. But she said you ended up doing something that made it your own, and yours ended up being better. Like my grandmother told me, she said, your butter cake with chocolate ice ended up being better than mine because you did add a little something. I left one part out that made it authentically mine, but you did something just a little bit different that made it authentically yours, that made yours better than mine. So she admitted, she said, yours is better than mine. I ain't gonna even lie. She said, son, yours is better than mine. I said, appreciate that, grandma. And everybody tells me, they was like, yeah, grandma got the peach cobbler down, but they was like, nah, your cake is the one. So Tracy, but my aunt is that way with the orange juice cake. I wonder I've never even heard of orange juice cake. That's interesting. I had to get child. She ain't gonna get a recipe up. How old is your aunt? If you don't mind me asking, Yana, because you know some of them. You got some people that go to the grave, but they be like, "Mm-mm, you ain't get my recipe," and they don't even have it written down nowhere. Like when I learned how to cook from my grandmother, she ain't had no recipe. Her recipe was this much of this, and she just be pouring, and then she'll dip her finger and dip it in and say, "Taste it." That's what it should taste like. And you be like, "What?" No measuring cups, no measuring spoon. It was poured in. This is how much you need, and then she'll dip her finger, be like, "See how that tastes? That's what it should taste like." I'm like, can I get a measure? Now I later on, when she wasn't there to watch, okay, when she wasn't there to watch, I later on ended up measuring things to really see how much of it I was using and could make a recipe out of it. My grandma and all her sisters, when they cook, like I learned how to cook greens from my grandmother's older sister. And when she would tell me how much of the use of everything, I said, well, how much? Baby, ain't no how much. Baby, this is how much it is. You see how much I'm pouring in there? That's how much. You fill it up, you get this. And even with like how much water, baby, I use this pot and I add this much water to this line right here. Ain't no line there. This the area that I stop at. Wait, what? That's how they cook. And my aunt casket ready, dirty, dirty up. You say she casket ready, she ain't giving up no secret. None. And she doesn't have any of her recipes written. That's how they, the old school, they don't have a recipe written out recipe. That's just like when I learned how to barbecue. With my uncle, the grill master, when he taught us how to barbecue, he told us this is what you do. You take your charcoal. He say we black. If somebody ever tell you about using a gas grill, you run away from them people. Black people don't use gas or propane grills. We only use charcoal grill. The propane grills ain't gonna taste like this. So you never cook with gas. You only cook with charcoal. To this day, I can't grill on the propane. I need charcoal. You put your charcoal in this pyramid, you light it up. When it first start getting gray, you can spread it out. You spread it out. You take you a big onion. You chop that onion into fourths, and you put pieces of that onion all over your grill. My uncle also said you take you a good navel orange. You cut that navel orange into fourths, and then each one of those fourths you cut in half, and you spread that out on the grill. You then get you a couple pieces of hickory wood, and you take a couple pieces of that hickory wood, and you also put that inside the charcoal. All of that go in the charcoal. You let that sit for a few minutes. You put your grill on. By that time, your charcoal is got a good gray on it, and now you can put your meat on. That's only after you done marinated your meat all night long. Because see, you got to start preparing your meat the night before. You prepare your meat the night before, and you let that meat brine or marinate all night long, all night long. And when you get up that morning and you start that grill early in the morning, you also gotta have you some goggles because the smoke gonna get to your eyes. So you got to have you some clear goggles like you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that you gonna have on, and you got to have your requisite hand towel. You can't have the washcloth. You got to have a whole hand towel or a whole full towel. My uncle didn't even have a hand towel. My uncle used to have a full regular towel that you dry off with on his shoulder to wipe the sweat from his eyes. Say, nah, you don't want none of that dirty ass sweat getting in your meat. Child. Now, I was not taught to pre-season the charcoal. I was taught you let your charcoal, put it in a pyramid, let it get a little bit gray. Once it starts graying, you spread it out, and that's when you start to put that onion in there. You put that orange in there, and you put the hickory wood in there. I usually try to put my hickory wood in first, and then I'll put my onion and my orange in there, and all that adds to the charcoal. Like that, and that's that, and then you go with, and then after you, now the secrets of the brine or the marinade, those are family secrets that you never give away. Now those are family. What you marinate or brine your meat with all night, those are family secrets that you never give away. Grill masters never get out of it because you do that the night before. You let it go all night. You wake up early that next morning and you be ready to go. They be like this. Whew. But what now? How do they season the charcoal? That's interesting. I was like, I don't know about seasoning. Like you said, seasoning the charcoal before they even light the charcoal. My uncle also taught me if you know what you're doing, you ain't got to put a whole lot of lighter fluid on your charcoal. My uncle say, if I want to, I don't need no lighter fluid. My uncle be like, I don't need no lighter fluid. I will put just a little bit of lighter fluid just to get it started. But you when you see people putting half the bottle of lighter fluid or the whole bottle of lighter fluid in there, they don't know what they're doing. They they don't know what the hell they're doing. It don't take all the lighter fluid because when you do all of that, the charcoal is gonna taste like lighter fluid, and your meat gonna taste like lighter fluid instead of tasting like the charcoal. If I use now, I've learned over the years how to do it without having to use lighter fluid. But you got if I there are times where I do use a little bit, but it's very little. It's just like a squeeze real fast. All right, that's all I need just to get the party started. Right, that little bit be done burned off by the time I get ready to spread it out. You don't need all that lighter fluid if you know what you're doing. Not if you know what you're doing. Cause your meat end up tasting like lighter fluid. Lump charcoal, okay. But you gotta put it in that pyramid. If you don't put it in that pyramid, I don't know who taught you. If you don't put your charcoal in that pyramid, I don't know who taught you how to barbecue. You gotta start off with the pyramid. You gotta start off with the pyramid. I'm just saying. Pellet smoker, okay. Gotta start. I'm just saying this is the tricks of the trade. That's just like making cheesecake. When I make a cheesecake, if you make a cheesecake, you got to clean out your refrigerator. Just know before you make a cheesecake, you must clean out your refrigerator because the cheesecake got to sit overnight in your refrigerator. And if you got all kinds of odors and smells in your refrigerator, it's going to seep into your cheesecake, and your cheesecake is going to taste like all of the stuff that you done, those smells and different things that you got in your refrigerator. I'm telling you what I know. You got to thoroughly clean your refrigerator before you make a cheesecake. Before you make a cheesecake, cut the cabbage in wedges, butter it really good. Melted butter or just regular butter. Salt and pepper it. Wrap it in bacon and wrap it up in foil. Throw it on the grill. Interesting. I'm gonna have to try that, Yana. That sounds good. How long you let it sit on the grill? Usually. That sounds real interesting. Regular butter, so you don't have to melt the butter, just regular butter. Okay. What about like the you know how you could buy the garlic herb butter? Would it go good with garlic herb butter too? Cause I'm just thinking like I got this garlic herb butter that I buy, the sticks of garlic herb butter. So I wonder if I could use that. That sounds good. About 30 minutes to an hour. You and you wrap it in the bacon. Yana, can I use the brown sugar bacon? Oh, that sounds so good. Yana, I'm gonna have to try that. My hubby uses the garlic herb sometimes. Okay, okay. Because I was thinking like I buy sticks of garlic herb butter too, and I was thinking that I could. But now the garlic herb butter is expensive. It is expensive. But I was thinking that I just for that I could buy some. Okay. Ooh, that sounds good. Listen, y'all got some recipes going on in the chat. Shouts out to the chat. Y'all over here doing the goddamn thing over here in the chat. I ain't mad at you. Y'all got that thing over here in the chat. I ain't mad at it. But yeah, that's the first rule of making a cheesecake. You got to clean out your refrigerator. Make sure you have baking soda. You can keep baking soda boxes in there, but don't have old baking soda boxes. Buy brand new, like when you clean out your refrigerator, buy brand new boxes of Arm and Hammer baking, baking soda or whatever. I have brand new baking soda in there. Don't have no old baking soda. Cheesecake smell like onion, right? Cheesecake not smelling like onion and garlic. It will actually taste like it because, like I said, you gotta have that cheesecake in your refrigerator overnight. Like a cheesecake, you want it to after you bake it, you want it to be in the refrigerator chilling for at least 8 hours. So yeah, you want that in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours. So yeah. Well, listen, y'all, we done been on here 2 hours and 20 plus minutes. Child, we done had a good time. Listen, I told you I ain't have a whole lot to talk about, which means that we had a lot to talk about. Let me give y'all last two palette cleansers. Because I think I got two more. I think that's all I got is two more. All I got. Last two palette cleansers. There you go. One, I done drank all my drink. Let me take another spoonful of my carrot cake that I'm gonna finish once I get off here. There's our there's one palette cleanser. Ain't he cute? Ain't he fine? He is fine. Mm. Ooh, he fine. That's our last palette cleanser right there. That's our last one. Mm. My God, this carrot cake is so good. All right. So that was the last of the palate cleanses. Anyway, I had a great time with y'all here, entertaining on Memorial Day. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day. Wanted to make sure I come through and show y'all some love and talk about some stuff and have a good time. We'll be back later this week. Um, I don't know if I'll be on for Silly Saturday because I gotta go out of town again this weekend, but I'll do what I can. But um, I'll be back, during the week, so we'll handle it that way. But yeah, as I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal person and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. I thank you all so much for being here with me today on this Memorial Day, spending time with me. I hope I entertained you somewhat. I hope you had a great time here. And like always, I'm here for y'all. I'm here, to give of myself. I'm about to go lay down, have another drink, finish this good carrot cake, and enjoy the rest of my Memorial Day shondos to you all. Shondos in and around the chat. Let me get some shondos in the chat before we get out of here. I have thoroughly enjoyed you all and thoroughly enjoyed myself with you all. We had a great time once again. That right there is the real show. I'm just a sideshow. So just follow that over there, the live chat. That's the real show. Anyway, until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank you all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out of here.